Tonight, a haunting image in the middle of the night.
We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
An 84-year-old woman seemingly kidnapped from her home.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help.
An investigation with so many twists and turns, ransom notes, surveillance cameras, massive searches in the Catalina foothills.
People could be walking up and down that road, and they're not going to see us.
There's a trail of new clues each day as investigators are on the clock to try to put the pieces together, while millions around the world watch their every move.
I can't recall in 46 years of law enforcement service a case like that ever occurring.
Where is Nancy Guthrie? A special edition of NewsNation starts right now. Two weeks ago today, this quiet neighborhood in Tucson erupted with the news of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. 14 days later, there's been so many twists and turns. Are investigators any closer to finding answers? That is the big question right now. Good evening, everybody. I'm Brian Entin. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of NewsNation, Missing, the Nancy Guthrie missing case, as we continue to look into this mystery. Not a day goes by without some sort of key development in the search for the 84-year-old. She's a mother of Savannah Guthrie, and she's a mother of Cameron and also Annie Guthrie, too. And that includes last night, where there were developments last night. The sheriff here tells me there were no arrests in that major SWAT raid that we saw last night connected to the case about 2 miles from here. I'm told that there were no arrests, but there is still interest in exactly what happened last night. Investigators are looking into leads that they worked on, and I'm told that they continue to flush those things out. And even though there were no arrests, the investigation is far from over. We are going to get to more of that in just moments. We're going to go through exactly what happened last night. I have NewsNation's Jessica Cartalia and Marnie Hughes here with me as we go through all of the details of everything since the beginning. But first, we want to take you through a timeline, take you back to when all of this began. Sunday, January 31st, just about 30 minutes before sunset, Nancy Guthrie travels by Uber to the home of her oldest daughter, Annie. After dinner and games, son-in-law Tommaso Cioni brings her home. The time is 9:48. 2 minutes pass, and the 84-year-old's garage door closes. After midnight, Monday, February 1st, a masked, armed man approaches Nancy's door. Head down, he focuses in on the home's doorbell camera, then turns back to grab foliage in a clumsy attempt to cover the device.
There's no question that this was planned.
By 1:47 a.m., that Nest Cam is disconnected. At 2:12 a.m., another house camera detects movement. 16 minutes later, 2:28, Nancy's Pacemaker disconnects from the app on her phone. Later that morning, a friend who regularly hosts Nancy to watch a streamed church service alerts the family that she's absent. 11:56, family goes to Nancy's home to investigate. 7 minutes later, 911 is called.
Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old white female, 5'4", 150. Brown and blue, last and wearing unknown clothing.
12:15, sheriff's deputies arrive at Nancy's house and the search begins.
Breaking overnight, Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's 84-year-old mother, now at the center of a missing persons case.
Monday, February 2nd, the nation wakes to learn of Guthrie's family's nightmare. The Today Show begins without Savannah and with grave news.
And our thoughts and our prayers are with our dear friend and colleague and her family this morning.
We saw some things at the home that were concerning to us.
9 a.m., the Pima County Sheriff's press conference is carried live from coast to coast.
This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, is in need of medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal.
A local TV station receives a ransom note with specific details about what Nancy was wearing and with 2 distinct deadlines.
We're gathering some DNA samples to get those to our crime lab. But yes, it's evident to us that she was moved from that house against her will.
By the next day, Tuesday, February 3rd, the sheriff updates NewsNation about that DNA.
It confirmed that the DNA that we found belonged to Nancy, Savannah's mom.
It's announced that Savannah will be pulling out of Olympics coverage, and she asked the nation, just pray on Instagram. While sheriff's helicopters circle, NewsNation brings viewers a sobering scene. We were able to get up close to the house right near the front door, and there is blood. There is a blood trail near the front door of Nancy Guthrie's house. Wednesday, February 4th, days after the crime scene is released, law enforcement converges with dogs, a perimeter, and investigators all over the property.
Are they getting things in the garage, or are they just using it to go in and out?
And love for her daughters and family.
Nancy's neighbors gather in prayer.
Now hang in there, Nancy. You got this.
President Trump posts pledging immediate federal support.
On behalf of our family.
And for the first time, we hear from the anguished family, directly addressing the kidnapper.
She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Thursday, February 5th sees a meager reward for information bump up to $50,000. Deputies canvass behind Annie Guthrie's home. A 5 p.m. ransom deadline comes and goes, and Nancy's only son posts a message.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you.
The FBI deploys digital billboards on Friday, February 6th. Nancy's car is towed. We learn another ransom note goes to a local TV station.
Is it, written by the same person? It's very difficult to tell.
And reporters aboard Air Force One get a briefing.
We have some clues, I think, that are very strong, and I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
Saturday, February 7th, brings a flurry of activity both at Nancy and Annie Guthrie's home.
So I'm outside Annie Guthrie's house. Camera flashes from inside the house coming from the windows. So
Nancy's children release another emotional video.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us.
The septic tank behind Nancy's home is searched on Sunday the 8th.
We're now in day 9. FBI Director Kash Patel will be in Tucson today.
The work week begins with the FBI director on site, but behind the scenes. And as a ransom note's second deadline passes, the woman who typically spends her days cheerfully on camera turns to another appeal.
If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Tuesday, February 10th, a bombshell. The FBI's work nets the video seen around the world.
What we see is planned, but not professional.
Developments unfold rapidly, sending law enforcement south to Rio Rico, Arizona. I'm outside the house that is now being searched. This is her house, and the subject is her son-in-law.
Yeah,
is that right?
Son, yeah.
Deputies detain a man for questioning, and then his release.
Like, what the am I doing here? I didn't do anything, to be honest. Like, I'm innocent.
Wednesday, February 11th, the FBI searches along roadways in the Catalina foothills, and a black glove is reported to be found.
Get it forensically tested, come up with a DNA profile.
The 12th, shortly after a forensic height chart is brought in, we get this description of the man at the door. 5'9" to 5'10", average build. His backpack, a Walmart brand, 25-liter Ozark trail hiker.
They are saying as well that they now have 13,000 tips from the public.
Friday the 13th brings rain and gloomy skies for the first time since the kidnapping, and a growing display from a heartbroken community.
People care.
A report of new evidence.
You have unknown DNA that you have found, DNA that does not match anybody in the Guthrie family, does not match anybody working for Nancy Guthrie inside her home.
So someone's leaving.
Nightfall nets the most activity to date. A mobile command center, the bomb squad, and a SWAT team. Multiple people detained, and a nation increasingly desperate to bring Nancy home.
Can't imagine that if they get somebody that lives right next to me on my street, that, that even makes sense.
And joining me live now is NewsNation's Jessica Cartalia. She is live from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Jessica, no arrests with this SWAT operation that we saw last night. What do we know about what happened there?
Yeah, really incredible, Brian, because we thought this could be it, right? Hopefully we have something that leads us to Nancy Guthrie. It turned out they took them into custody. They took 2 people into custody, or detained 2 people in this home, another at a nearby traffic stop. You can only hold someone, though, as you know, when you're detaining someone for 48 hours. They were not arrested in this case. And at that point, police had to let them go. They said they were following a lead, but it did not turn out to be warrant of an arrest. Now, that said, the sheriff did also say today, Brian, that we could expect to see more situations just like this as these leads continue to come here to the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, Jessica. You're outside the sheriff's office now, so obviously you'll let us know if there's any more activity, because that's where the SWAT team initially rolled from. Do we know what else to expect? Could there be another operation, say, tonight?
You know, it's very interesting. Of course, they're not telling the media much at all through this entire process. We know that Sheriff Chris Nanos from the beginning was very vocal and then had to walk back some of the things that he said. So, crickets coming out of here. We have not had updates in quite some time. The latest that we've heard was from the FBI when they released that video of the suspect. They also gave a description after they walked into the house with that height chart, Brian. But we have not heard anything. Following this situation this morning, we received a message NewsNation heard directly from the sheriff. He said, again, just following a lead. As for what could happen tonight, that remains to be seen. Right now, it is very quiet here outside of the sheriff's department.
Okay, Jessica, we'll check back in with you if anything develops. And of course, just like last night, if there's some kind of SWAT operation, we'll be ready to roll. Jessica, thank you. Joining me now is Bob Krieger. He is a former Pima County SWAT. You were the sergeant of the SWAT team, right? You were pretty much over the SWAT team.
Commander, yeah.
Commander, yes.
For the last 5 years,
It's
off and on.
It's nice to see you again, Bob.
Thank you.
Walk us through a little bit of what you know about this operation last night. And are you surprised? The sheriff texted me this morning that there were no arrests.
I'll start by saying I'm not surprised there were no arrests. That's not uncommon in an operation like that. SWAT serves a couple different functions. First and foremost, it's to make the scene safe for the investigators. They are not really concerned with evidence collection, things like that. They're concerned with taking everyone into custody, doing that safely, and giving the investigators a safe scene to work with. So it's not uncommon to go through an operation like that. They were there to collect evidence and interview people, and that all got accomplished. So last night was a success.
And that'll just take time now, because I'm assuming, just like we saw at the situation near the border, you know, they take electronics. I'd imagine all that's going to take some time. We're not going to see an immediate arrest.
Exactly. Unless there was evidence gained that it was rock solid and it was time for the arrest, then they would do it then. But again, not uncommon. Sometimes these, as we can tell now, we're in the second week. These investigations can take a long time to get what they need to get the probable cause to make an arrest.
So many people around the country and really around the world are following this case and have questions about this case. And we received a couple of videos from people who had questions for you, specifically one about cameras in the area. I want to play this, and then I want to get your reaction.
Can you provide any clarity on the traffic camera situation there in Tucson? Because I've heard that they don't really have traffic cams that the police can rely on in this investigation. And second question, do they have license plate readers in that area?
Okay, you're the perfect guy for this.
So on the first part of that question, we do not have many red light cameras or anything like that. There are a handful within the city limits. We had them years ago. The voters chose they didn't want them, so they were removed. So as far as the camera technology goes, specific to those cameras, there aren't a lot of them. License plate readers, there are definitely more of those. There are also private folks who are running license plate readers as kind of a side hustle.
Really? That's interesting.
Oh yeah, they'll work them to find stolen cars for repossessions, things like that. So that's not uncommon. The technology is out there, and there are other systems available to us as far as cameras go. The Department of Transportation, there are companies out there that we can work with that have cameras that can provide us information. The bad thing is, if we don't know what we're looking for, you know, the cameras are just showing license plates and cars.
Right.
So we need more to go on, but if they can get something, then the technology is also there to start looking through those cameras and seeing, you know, license plate ABC 123 went through at this time.
Yeah, and until you're here, you don't realize just, how much brush there is. There's the cactuses, there's bushes. I mean, and the houses are set back off the road.
Yes.
So even if someone had a Ring camera, it seems difficult that they would actually capture something on the roads in these neighborhoods.
In neighborhoods like this, yes. They're not the cookie cutter type neighborhoods where you can see right behind us, nothing but brush. And so until you're on property walking up to the door, there's not a lot that you're going to see. You might get a little bit of movement at the street, but unfortunately, a lot of times in these types of neighborhoods, you're not getting what you really want.
Something else I wanted to ask you about, Bob, is before we went out and witnessed what SWAT was doing last night, which was really impressive, by the way. You're the Pima team. I mean, I know you were the boss of the team, so I mean, it's impressive to see them in action.
Good to hear.
But I heard a plane in the air, and I was told that Pima County has a surveillance plane. Do you think that was associated with the operation, and is that plane assisting right now?
The Sheriff's Department does have a good aerial fleet. We have a good unit. We do have a plane. I don't know if it was up specifically last night, especially with the weather, but it very well could have been. It works hand in hand with our patrol. It works hand in hand on almost every SWAT mission that we would run, because having that aerial platform, again, going back to the primary goal of making that scene safe for the investigators, it's up there. It's looking for people who might be running, leaving the scene. If it was a plane and it saw a vehicle leave prior to the SWAT team getting there, they probably followed it, and that's what helped with the traffic stop on that vehicle.
Do you think, Bob, that we're getting closer? I mean, the hope is, yeah, we're all out here, we want Nancy to be found.
I hope we're getting closer, and I think we are. Every day, there's more information coming in. The investigators are able to follow up on more. Sooner or later, they're going to get that piece of evidence, no matter what it is. And it's just going to take time with as many pieces out there to sift through it. So the short answer is, yes, we are getting closer. That endpoint might not be for a while, or it could be this evening.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time when we get there.
I guess we'll see what happens tonight. And I said we'll be ready to roll again, just like we were last night. So thank you, Bob. Appreciate your time very much. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Okay, coming up still, we've got a lot to get to. We're taking you through the terrain here on the ground in Arizona, and it is difficult terrain. It's probably not exactly what you're picturing. Why it could be causing problems for investigators. Also, did the person at Nancy Guthrie's door have an accomplice? Was it more than one person? We're getting some new insight into that. Plus, could DNA be the thing that cracks this case wide open? Don't go anywhere. We're right back after this. All right, so every day law enforcement has been out here in Tucson searching for any clues or any sign of Nancy Guthrie, and the searches continue right now. And remember, Nancy Guthrie could be alive. They've been searching with helicopters, foot searches. But I want to give you a better idea of why this is so complicated. I want to put this map up to really show you what it's like out here. Take a look at this. Nancy's house is right here in the Catalina foothills. You've seen us outside her house literally every single day for almost 2 weeks now. But these neighborhoods here, they're different. They're interesting. You don't really understand until you're here. The homes, they're tucked back. You can see it here from our drone. And these aren't just out and back streets. Here's video of what driving around Nancy's neighborhood actually looks like. It is hilly. It is curvy. There's lots of ways in and out. I've been here almost 2 weeks, and I still almost get lost. I have to use my GPS every single day to get out of here. And then there's Annie's house. That's, of course, Nancy's other daughter. That's where she came from that night. That's about 10 to 15 minutes from here, depending on traffic, closer to 10 minutes. The glove that investigators picked up during one of their searches, that was found here in this location. That's about 1.5 miles from Nancy's home. So all this is pretty close together. And then there was that SWAT operation last night. That was not far either. That was just about 2 miles away from where I'm standing right now, where that raid happened. So you can see it's a pretty big area here, and there's a lot of things to keep track of. And it's wild out here. I mean, this is the desert. This is desert terrain. It makes things even more tricky for investigators. Take a look at this.
This is the terrain where we're used to walking through and trafficking, trying to track traffickers, human smuggling and drug smuggling. But the way this is called a wash. A lot of people don't use that terminology. And as we walk through here, you'll see this is kind of like a trail where you know which way to walk in there. You're going to have some broken branches in this area.
Everything's like got thorns too, huh?
Everything's got thorns. And I think the difference is people hear desert landscape and they almost think that it's nothing but sand and you could see mud. So this is basically the brush. And as you walk further in, these are called, this is the actual wash. These are the washes. You know, we haven't walked too far, but if you go this way, and here I will show you, if it's dark out here, or even now, vehicles can go through this neighborhood and they're not going to see anybody in this area of the brush. Now, this is called the wash. When it rains, you get water through here, of course, but they're dry most of the time. So you can walk through these areas and pull up behind some of these houses.
You could drive into some of these areas.
There's some areas where you'd be able to drive. It'd be more difficult, but you could definitely drive maybe like a quad through here. I mean, there's a house right there. And if we continue walking through here, I mean, you'll see there's a house there. You probably couldn't see it when we were in the brush, but you're going through all this area. And at night, somebody that would know the terrain can walk through here and literally, you wouldn't know. We're probably, what 20 feet from the road, and from where we're standing, we can't see my truck. With some of these cameras, you would not be able to see the street.
The topography, as you can see, we're heading into the Saguaro Monument, is another challenge. The desert is not necessarily, it's beautiful, but it's not always friendly. There are a number of risks out there with thorny bushes and cactus and poisonous animals.
Now imagine this at night when it is completely dark and there are no there's no street lights out here. There's absolutely no street lights. So that just adds to how difficult it is. And if you do have some type of ring camera and it's dark and you have this, you're really not going to get much out of a ring camera.
The topography is extreme. We're at 3,000 feet in elevation, right where we're at right now. And there's a mountain in front of us that goes up to close to 7,000 feet. And there's a mountain to the north of us that goes almost 10,000 feet. And everything in between creates a topography that's a challenge.
Right? Could they bring her into Mexico?
Or bring her into Mexico, or even, you know, I'll be honest.
Are there ways to do that, though, without being seen?
Yeah, so there's areas, obviously, that are porous still within the border. Our border is more secure than it's ever been. We've all heard that, and it is true. But in Arizona, there's still porous areas where you could possibly head south, especially at nighttime.
It's highly likely she could be in Mexico. It's my opinion that might be one of the places that would logically make some sense to deal with her until what they want, what they're demanding, is satisfied.
And the Mexico possibility is really, really frightening when you think about it. And by the way, it is pitch black out here. All right, coming up next, was there more than one person at Nancy Guthrie's home that night? Could there have been more people involved actually at the house? A former special agent with the FBI joins me live on why she thinks that could actually be the case, and she is answering your questions right after the break. All right, you are looking live right now at the Pima County Sheriff's Office. We are keeping a close eye on any potential action. Remember, last night we were out with the SWAT team for most of the night. Will it happen again tonight? We don't know. Anything can happen. This is an urgent search. And remember, Nancy Guthrie could be alive. So we've got to keep an eye on everything happening in real time. Remember, this whole investigation brought a firestorm upon the man in charge in Tucson, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos. Nanos has been in the spotlight before. He helped lead the Gabby Gifford shooting case. It was here years ago. But there are moments, especially in the early days of this investigation, that have gotten attention, and it has not always been good attention. Take a look at this.
The reports of blood in the house, can you confirm that at this hour?
No, I'm not sure where that came from. Maybe I said something, and trust me, I've said a lot, talked to a lot of people, and some of those comments may have on my fault, not the media, may have been distorted or at least taken out of context.
When you're taken from your bed and you don't want to go somewhere, that's an abduction.
The sheriff's department now saying he meant that figuratively and did not mean that she was literally taken from her bed.
I'm not used to everybody hanging on to my words and then trying to hold me accountable for what I say. Boy, if I said I absolutely misspoke. I've never thought she was or wasn't targeted. Mistakes are going to be made, and if I made them, mea culpa, it won't be the first mistake I've ever made.
All right, there's also been claims that Sheriff Nanos has not been too forthcoming with the FBI, that there's something that it's something he's denied to NewsNation, but we have heard from FBI sources that there's been an issue with communication and there's been information that has been withheld. I want to bring in my next guest, former FBI Special Agent Maureen O'Connell. Maureen, it is always very, very nice to see you. I want to start with a question that we have for you that we got from one of our viewers, Tom. I want to play this and I want to get your answer on the other side. Listen to this, Maureen.
With all this controversy involving who's in charge and who's this and that, if I were the family, I would hire private investigators to go into this. Now, say that is the case. If that does happen, then what are some of the things that private investigators might be able to do that perhaps the federal government and the local county sheriff's department might not be able to do?
What do you think about this, Maureen? Because there was a report that the Guthries had hired a private investigator. Then there was a report that that actually wasn't true. So we're not really sure. Do you think a private investigator, we're now 2 weeks in, could help?
In an investigation like this, no, I don't. If you want to hire a private investigator to possibly be an intermediary or in some way, shape, or form, I guess I have seen that done before. But I think in this particular instance, when you have so many people and two different big entities that are there, let's just try to keep it as simple as we can. There's a lot going on, and although communication may be an issue, comms is always an issue in a big case. You just can't help it. You have all these siloed investigations happening within the FBI. So they're doing the cast or the cellular analysis. They're doing a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff that's going to the lab is going to the FBI lab. The tips and leads and how they're triaged, that's being done by the FBI. And who's sending out leads, who's setting the leads, and who's taking the leads back when we're done. That's probably all being done by the FBI and the analysts and the task force. So to add more people to that, first of all, they're not sworn. They can't be held to the same standard. They don't have access to any of the systems, and there are a lot of systems being used and utilized in an investigation of this size and of this magnitude.
Yeah, it makes sense. It seems like it could complicate things at this point. I want to ask you about last night. I was out there. We saw the SWAT team. They went in. Then the FBI rolled in. There was a ton of them. And I am told that they likely took DNA from one of these subjects that they were interested in. And we know, Maureen, that they have DNA from inside Nancy's house, DNA that doesn't connect back to Nancy and does not connect back to anyone within her circle, so a stranger's DNA. How long would it take for them to test the DNA from last night and see if it's a match from the DNA here at the house?
It's not going to take that long. They're going to send the DNA. The sheriff is probably going to send that DNA to that private lab in Florida, which specializes in touch DNA. And they can do a one-to-one comparison with the known DNA that they have and this person to see if it matches. What they cannot do is they don't have the ability to run it through CODIS. So it's going to have to go probably to the FBI lab at that point so that we can keep this lab situation down to a manageable number. And then the FBI or the sheriff's department can run it through CODIS, the National Database for DNA, and then determine if that, will hit with anyone else. But the DNA sample that the FBI is or that the private lab is in possession of, if they have sent it back to the lab, to the sheriff already, it's already in CODIS. If they haven't, then they're going to have to send it back to the sheriff or to the FBI to get it uploaded into CODIS and then compared.
Maureen, we've all seen the horrifying, frightening photos from the front of the house that the FBI was able to get off the Google Nest camera of the man, covered from head to toe. Do you think, and I've thought a lot about this, do you think someone else involved, and I don't mean just someone else to plan this thing, I mean someone else who was actually at the house that night and also went into the house to kidnap Nancy?
Well, obviously we're not sure, but I would say it's probably likely there was someone driving the car. And the car could have been right there in the driveway. It could have been halfway through the circle driveway. We don't have the entire video. I'm sure the FBI has much more video. Did this person attempt to open the front door here? Did they have a key to the front door? Did they go around to the back door? Do we have that video? There's just a lot of unanswered questions, but for me, it would make a lot more sense if you had at least two people involved in this conspiracy and the other person was driving the vehicle.
Why do you think his backpack is so full, Maureen? It looks stuffed. I mean, what do you think could be in there?
Violent criminals, he's obviously got a proclivity to violence, and that's one of the questions when you're trying to analyze the offender of a situation like this. He's got a proclivity and a predisposition to violence because she was bleeding on the front steps when she left. So there's just no question there. That is an actual fact that we know. So, and he's got that gun on his waistband, but with regard to that backpack, could he have a tarp? Could he have restraints? Could he have tape? Those would be the things I would expect to find in something like that. He could have rope. Who knows? But this is why when municipal law enforcement officers pull people over and they see kits like this in their trunk, or burglary tools or whatever, it gives them probable cause to search or detain or even arrest.
And just real quick, Maureen, there's something I learned about that hasn't been reported yet. We saw a helicopter very low over Nancy's house and in the surrounding area the other day, and I'm told there was something called a signal sniffer on one of the skids of the helicopter, a very, very small box, like less than 7 inches long, that could actually detect Nancy's pacemaker. And again, I have not heard this reported before, but we were able to confirm it. And it just made me think about all the technology that the FBI is likely using now that we don't know about. I mean, is there AI involved? What else do you think other tools they may be using that we just don't know?
They'll be using every tool we have to try to bring Nancy home. With regard to this particular tool, I don't know. But I do know that the pacemaker sends off a very short distance alert or whatever. So they're going to have to get really close. How close were they to the ground?
They were close, Maureen. Yeah, that's what was so interesting when we saw the helicopter. They were so low, and we were all talking about it. Like, what are they doing? Why are they hovering so low in different spots around the yard? Come to find out, they actually had this signal sniffer sent in, special for this. It's like a special piece of equipment that had to be sent in, which it makes sense now why they were hovering so low. Maureen O'Connell, I always appreciate talking to you and your expertise. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Brian. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. You always do a great job, Maureen. All right, coming up next, inside the life of Nancy Guthrie. We know she's Savannah Guthrie's mother, but her story and her life, it is so much more than that. And sometimes we forget because we're so focused on the investigation, but she was a wonderful woman. She is a wonderful woman, and we're going to dig into that coming up.
Armand is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Gosh, these videos are so heartbreaking from Savannah Guthrie and her family. They've just been awful and just gut-wrenching to watch as they reach day 14 with little answers about what happened to their mom. I want to bring in NewsNation's Marnie Hughes now. She is with me. And Marnie, I've been thinking a lot about this. I get so wrapped up in the investigation and trying to chase every lead, but I try to remind myself every day, about Nancy. And she was so loved in this community. She lived in this house since the 90s.
Yeah.
She was much more than just Savannah Guthrie's mom here.
Right. I mean, I think the reason there's so much attention, Brian, to this case is because she's Savannah's mom, right? Savannah's a celebrity. She's a journalist that we know. But as we cover missing cases, there are thousands of families out there who have a missing person. And the one common thread I find as I talk to all of these families all across the country every single week is they want people to know their person. They feel unheard, and they all hold on to hope, just like the Guthrie family is doing. And as we have looked and looked for Nancy for the last 2 weeks, I think about her grandkids right now and what they must be going through. We see Savannah, she's used to being in front of a camera, and she is grief-stricken. I think about those grandkids. I think about her friends who know her, who are staying quiet in the shadows right now, but they're watching this search day in, day out, and they are hopeful. And that is what all of these families, just like the Guthries, are hopeful. We talked to a friend of Nancy's today who is a colleague and a friend, worked with her at the University of Arizona, where she worked, and she said she was smart. She is insightful. She is wise. She's one of those quiet leaders that would work behind the scenes. She worked in the journalism department at the University of Arizona and really was impactful, even was instrumental in helping plan the curriculum, which I think is a great connection with Savannah. Wise and kind, and what we found, Brian, is that is a characteristic she has carried with her throughout her entire life.
Savannah's mom.
Savannah, I'm going to tell you. Are you kidding me? For years, we've heard the stories of Nancy's life told through the eyes of her youngest daughter, Savannah.
This is a real Kentucky recipe with just a touch of Arizona, because my mom and dad both grew up in Kentucky.
We did.
So it's perfect.
Nancy attended the University of Kentucky, where she wrote columns for the student-run newspaper, and met her husband, Charles, on a blind date at a basketball game.
But the thing that I always remember is my mom said, my dad walked up to the door of her sorority and she looked at him and said, "That's the man I'm going to marry." No, she didn't.
Nancy and Charles got married in 1963, had 3 children, Cameron, Annie, and Savannah. A family focused on love and faith. Nancy has always been active at church.
The greatest gift my mother gave me was faith.
That was put to the test when tragedy struck the Guthrie family in 1988. Charles died of a heart attack. Savannah says it was her mom who put the pieces back together.
She has met unthinkable challenges in her life with grit, without self-pity, with determination, and always, always with unshakable faith.
Nancy went back to work to provide for her children, going on to have a career at the University of Arizona. For decades, she lived and loved the Catalina foothills.
It's so wonderful. Just the air, the quality of life is laid back and gentle.
A local journalist in the area says here, Nancy Guthrie is revered. Just look at the growing support from neighbors and strangers in Tucson, all the way to her church in New York.
We've put this service together filled with songs and scripture that we know are near and dear both to Savannah and Nancy's hearts.
A loyal friend who never missed time with her social circle, playing games, reading, and laughing. And a mother and grandmother whose loved ones are desperate to get her home.
We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Your children will not rest until we are together again.
Gosh, those videos, I mean, they're just so raw. They're still so hard to watch. We have another viewer question that I think is important, especially because of all the missing cases that you cover. Let's listen to this.
I'm wondering how reporters are deciding which information is useful for the public interest and for the interest of the victim and the family of the victim.
It's a good question,
Wow.
Marnie. I mean,
It's a great
how do you
question.
answer? Because we think about this every day.
Yeah, well, and I think this is such a good example of the struggle between social media and kind of citizen journalists versus those of us who have been doing this for a lot of years. And we really rely on careful, confirmed information. So for that reason, we always work with police, hand in hand on all our missing cases. When we get tips from the public or when we talk to family, we work with police. That said, private investigators are extremely helpful. And then I also will say powerful family instinct. The people who know them the best know the most.
Thank you, Marnie. It's always nice to see you. We just try to never interfere with the investigation also.
Yeah.
I mean, whereas
Let them
like
do
you
their
said,
jobs.
these citizen journalists will do anything. And
Yeah.
we try to be so careful because bringing Nancy home is obviously the most important. All right.
Of course.
Thank you, Marnie. All right, coming up, 14 days here in the desert. My final thoughts on what is happening on the ground here in Tucson. That's next. All right, so I've been here already almost 2 weeks. I can't believe it's been 2 weeks since all of this began. And I get so wrapped up every day in the twists and turns of the investigation. But at the end of the day, this is really about an 84-year-old mother who is missing. And I think for all of us, it's truly just a worst nightmare. Knowing someone dressed like this showed up to your mom's house and likely took her and kidnapped her. In a world where so many of us are divided these days, this is something obviously that we can all come together on. Finding Nancy Guthrie, the reward is now up to $100,000. We are committed to staying on the story until the end. If you know anything, call the FBI. The number, of course, is 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you so much for watching our special report. Good night.